hello there, how is everyone? I hope you're all well. Do you ever sort of look at news reports and think to yourself, this is more like obvious news? This is more like obvious news. And it's either you're stating something that's obvious, or it's obvious that you haven't really been paying attention. And look, we can all get things wrong. We can all kind of get caught up in the moment and say something that perhaps if you'd have dug a little deeper you'd have found. But some of these things are like glaringly obvious. And what am I talking about? So I'm talking about what some people put out, what some of these news places put out, and how they make it seem like a really massive thing. And it ain't. And I talk about this or these things in particular. Like, apparently it's new things that there was stains found in the apartment and they were found positive as being blood, and that's a massive thing, that is. Well, it's not really a massive thing. It's not a massive thing to think that you could find blood in someone's apartment. Now, people can cut themselves all the time. It's not a new thing. Now, if there's blood from one of the victims in Bryan Kohberger's apartment, that ain't just a hurdle. He'd be fucked. 100%. There ain't no getting away with that. Nothing whatsoever. Nothing whatsoever. But it's certainly not new that there was blood found in the apartment. We knew this some time ago. It ain't new. It ain't new at all. And I would imagine that if they have confirmed or they've found that that is indeed belonging to one of the victims, then the defence will know that, unless that's one of the things that they're holding back. Because as we know at the moment, the prosecution have failed to hand over anything that they've been requested by the defence so far. But look, like I say, blood. Is it, ain't it? We'll find out later on. This secret storage unit, it's not secret. It's not secret. Anybody who's been involved in student accommodation will know exactly what that storage facility is and how they come about. They come with them. They come with them. It was empty. And I see this reporter going, when I found out that was empty, I found that really strange. It was a red flag. What, that it was empty? What, that he didn't put anything in it? That he had access to it but didn't use it? You're a special one, you are. And then we have reports on Steve Consalvers. Steve Consalvers apparently sort of pointing out that we're not the family to fuck with. We're not the family that you need to get on the wrong side of, Sonny. I think what that's alluding to is that if it goes down the route of, are we going to be asked whether we want the death penalty involved, then we're obviously going to say yes. But what I find very interesting is how some of these victims' families, now I'm not going to point to anyone in particular because those who know, how in one interview and in one conversation you can almost point the fingers at other people and say, look, you need to look at these people. And a lot of what people have based their speculation on is based off of that behaviour, those comments, those statements. But then later on go balls deep into Bryan Kohberger. That probably didn't sound how I wanted it to. But you know what I mean. They've kind of gone all in with the it's now him and we're right back and the gloves are off kind of thing. But look, this ain't really new, is it? They're still talking about the bedroom situation. How many people still do not understand that Bryan Kohberger lived in an apartment complex and he had one bedroom? One bedroom, there was two. He didn't have access nor a key to the second one. He didn't lock it, he didn't use it, he didn't have access to it. He had the other one. And if I hear shower curtain one more time, I will lose my shit. What about if he just didn't have showers? The guy was nearly 6 foot tall. It might not have been comfortable for him to have a shower standing in some weird little bucket bath. He may have just had baths. And if he was away for the semester as well, he might have just took the shower curtain down, because what a lot of students will tell you is a lot of these apartments don't come with shower curtains. You have to bring your own. And why not? Because they're fucking gross. They get mouldy, they get damp, they get horrible. So they get removed. But I see that the alternative is to say that it was taken down because it was obviously covered in blood from the clean-up. And look, we can all speculate. I am the king of speculation. But what I find interesting is some people will just go on these ludicrous little, I don't know, the direction to try and prove that Bryan Kohberger is guilty, but they won't go in the other direction to speculate on how he could potentially be innocent. Because at the moment, with the limited information that we have, he could be innocent, he could be guilty, who knows? And to be honest, it's not going to be us who decide that, and there's nothing that we can do about it. There's not really any chance of us even being able to influence anything. Even the information that we've been able to find and bring up regarding this Demetrius and Emma. It's interesting. It is interesting, and it does show that there is an undercurrent of issues with narcotics. But like people point out, across the entire US there is an issue with narcotics. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Fentanyl especially is a problem. And, you know, this is just another area with the same problem that's seen elsewhere. But there is one thing that I do find incredibly interesting with regards to the Hyundai Elantra. Now, we've all heard that they are looking at phone pings and this, that and the other, and we're fucking arguing about the fact that, does the footage look like Bryan Kohberger's? Is this Bryan Kohberger's car? So on and so forth. But why have they not approached Berla for a Berla report on that car? Now, I've looked into the Berla report, specifically looking at the Hyundai Elantra, and it would appear that Berla have been able to report on the Hyundai Elantra from models from 2011. It weren't that long ago that they introduced more updates to include these models, but indeed, it would appear that Berla could do a full forensic diagnosis on that car. Now, for those of you who are unaware who Berla are one of the leading companies in digital diagnostics on vehicles. They can literally tell you absolutely everything. So if the defence are genuinely of the mindset that Bryan Kohberger didn't do this, and he wants to play the card that, you know, this was something else as another story, that Berla report would be able to concrete that. It would definitely be able to support that. And on the contrary, if the prosecution wanted to prove that he was in there, to even be able to ascertain whether he was in there on his own, where he parked, how long he waited for, the Berla report would be able to do everything. It can tell them everything. It could even plot the journey with which he took when he left there, if indeed he left there, which could well tell them whether he went and put the murder weapon somewhere, went and got chained somewhere. So my question is, when you've got a company who will give you access to all this information, even down to when indicators were used, how many people were sitting in the vehicle because of the sensors in the seat, because the car's got pre-tensioners built into the seat belts. So it needs to know who is sitting in the car. So in the event of an accident, where does the pre-tensioner go off? It's got all this information. Maybe they have. Maybe the police have reached out to Berla, and maybe the Berla report will be part of their evidence. But I'm telling you now, people have been convicted and got off of crimes because of the Burla report. But I feel that something like that could be key to this, because it gets rid of a lot of the things that people are quite, sceptical over, like phone pings, like dodgy ring cameras, and iPhone pictures of screens with another. Do you know what I mean? But have they got it? Haven't they got it? What news is going to come out next? What breaking news are we going to see? This is just a short one. I'm done, and I'll catch you all in the next one.